Okay, the bottom line, friend of God teaching. How do you get business information direct from God? Also called We Love the Way of Life. A study on the apostles' teaching. A discovery study. All right, now here's the bottom line. Do the world powers and the government of your country have your best interest in mind? No. Question. Are all these fire attacks around the world, the fire attacks in Australia were terrible. Paradise, California, Maui, California, Oregon, Greece, Portugal, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Canada, fire attacks. Fire attacks from above, from the satellites. Yeah, Star Wars. A Star Wars is an attack on the human population to scatter it, to displace it, to put it under submission to the death and greed cult that runs the world. All right, so primary question. Does the world government and your government have you and your children and your closest friends in top priority best interest? No. Okay, so if there's going to be an attack from above and your house is going to be turned into dust, including your bones and your children's bones, do you know how to get business advice from God to get out of Dodge? I mean, to move somewhere else. Do you know, do you understand where you are best supposed to be? That's an important question. All right, so how do you end up getting where you're supposed to be? How do you get to hear from God? All right, two places of great intensity in the Bible. Why do we work with the Bible? Because it holds hundreds of predictions about a certain event, and the event is a person. And all these predictions stretched across 1,000 years, written by 30 people that didn't know each other. All these predictions come true in one little person's life who travels around in an area around the size of New Jersey and only lives for 33 years. But he is famous for coming back from the dead. He is famous for walking into town and healing everybody. And he is first famous for what? What is he first famous for? He is first famous for making spirits go away from people with personality disorders. This is the bottom line, man. I'm not happy about Christianity. I don't like a lot of the people that are being the Bible teachers, and I was horribly neglected, and I had important things hidden from me when I was a child. So therefore, I operated in ignorance without understanding for the better part of 40 years. This is horrible. This is disgusting. All right, just my male physiology. I discovered when I was 36 years old that there are basic, simple exercises for male and female physiology so that you can dominate and keep under control your desires and urges. And it ends up being a benefit to you and also to the person that you select to be with. Kegel muscle. Control of the erectile tissue in the woman. Control of the erectile tissue in the man through conscious exercises. I learned that when I was 36 years old. And I was told that wise cultures teach their children when they are 6 to 13 years old these exercises. Boom. Then I discovered the proof about the Bible being a supernatural and beneficial message coming in a shrouded way from the Spirit of loving kindness, who cares about us and who is the life giver. Wild, amazing, crazy, really cool, frustrating, difficult, shocking, not easy to handle. Okay, all right. So in that Bible, look, man, I'm going to take you to places that nobody took me to. In the Bible, there's a place where the Spirit who loves mankind speaks to an ordinary human. Okay, so what is the atmosphere where the Spirit, the Supreme Spirit, I'm talking about top dog, creator, friend. It's important that you understand that God is friend. And that we have gotten a fog that has estranged us from the friend, the life giver. Okay. So in what they call the Tanakh, the Hebrew Scriptures, also known as the Old Testament, but ain't nothing old about it. It's alive and kicking. In that book, I think it's Exodus 35, the words are, I will communicate with you from above the creatures on the box, the ark. I will communicate with you from above the creatures over the ark, and I will tell you many detailed instructions about what I have already told you regarding my people, who are people who have the audacity to contend or wrestle with me. Hey, how come things can't be better? Hey, how come this is that and not this? Questions about justice. Questions about needs and oppression. The ones who are wrestling with the highest spirit and asking tough questions are the ones who are, quote unquote, his children. That's the only, it's a descriptive term. It's not a lineage of people. Cancel your adoration of the lineage of Israelite people. I mean, they're great because of God's election, but they are not your salvation or mine. Only the visitor is the salvation for Jew and Gentile. So anyhow, okay, all right. In the Old Testament, in the Tanakh, Yahweh Elohim, the highest spirit, the creator, the life giver, says, look, I'm going to talk to you from above the creatures that are sitting on the top of the ark, and I'm going to tell you many, many details about how to handle my people and what they need to know. Wow. So that is business advice from God at a certain location. Now that location was forbidden to everybody. Nobody could go in there. Nobody could go in the tabernacle and nobody could go in the temple. only those human beings who were male, who were born from the womb and the seed of the lineage of Levi, Aaron, Levi. And then the Kohanim, the high priests, are the ones that can go into the Holy of Holies. That doesn't mean that women are second-class citizens. That doesn't mean that, nobody else in the world is good. It's just this weird thing. The highest spirit put on a show and made some requirements. Then, fast forward all the way out. Oh, wait a minute. Danger zone, danger zone. Okay, so if you touch the Ark of the Covenant in a way that's inappropriate, you will die. And there's a story about the Ark of the Covenant sitting in a field, and thousands of the Philistines peeked at the Ark of the Covenant, and 50,070 died just from looking at the box where the highest spirit communicates with a human for all the humans. Now, fast forward. There's only one place in the New Covenant where there is a threat and a warning of sickness and death regarding interaction with a certain thing, a certain atmosphere. Okay, the Ark of the Covenant was in the Holy of Holies, which was a place that nobody could go into. And when somebody went in there once a year, they would tie a rope around his leg in case he died so he could drag him out. And he would put a skirt on that had bells on it, and he was supposed to shake that skirt so people could hear that he was still alive in there, interacting with the supernatural creator spirit. This is wild shit. It's interesting. It's amazing. It's cool. All right, then, fast forward. There's no place else in the Bible, people, where it talks about you might get sick or die in the New Covenant. And that is the putting the mystical presence of Yeshua inside of you. Now, the communion has two parts. It has physical, wine mixed with water, and bread. It has physical wine and bread, but it becomes supernaturally inside of you and your soul. It supernaturally becomes the actual body and blood of Yeshua presence. That was punctuation. My cup fell over. And I want you to meditate on that. That's part one.